Welcome to the Seven Figure Builder Show. My name is Julie Barron, founder of Seven Figure Builder, where we help high achieving business owners save time in their schedule every week by implementing marketing automation to grow and scale their business to seven figures and beyond. And I'm here today with my friend Lindy Rock. Hey, Lindy.
Hi, Julie.
Glad to have you here. And for those that are on video, we're doing carpool karaoke style because I am mid-transit, but wanted to connect with Lindy today. So it's fun in the car. But Lindy, for those that haven't had the pleasure to meet you yet, can you tell me a little bit about what you do with your business?
Sure. So I am the CEO and founder of Rock Solid Administration. We are a virtual assistant agency that specializes in helping online businesses organize, promote, and scale their brand through administrative services, technical support, and automation.
That's awesome. So do
Yeah.
you focus more on businesses that are trying to scale or businesses that are starting? Who is your ideal customer?
We look at the businesses that are trying to scale because we don't do marketing automation necessarily, but we do the systems automation. So helping them set up contracts and workflows and stuff like that.
Awesome. Very cool. So tell me a little bit more about what you do. Do you help with the finances and the systems, or what specifically do you help business owners with?
So on the virtual assistant side, we do anything that an in-office assistant would do: email management, schedule management, following up with clients, all of that kind of stuff sorry.
It's all good.
Okay. So on the virtual assistant side of it, we do anything an in-office assistant would do, just that we do it virtually. So we work with clients all over North America and do administrative support. So things like email management, client management, schedule management, website updates, all of that kind of stuff, newsletters, marketing, that kind of thing. And then on the automation side, we do workflows. We work a lot with things like Dubsado and Infusionsoft, setting up campaigns to ensure that the clients are using their business and streamlining it as much as possible. And Infusionsoft we use a lot for clients who are doing online courses to ensure that their customers are getting the correct emails and being put in the right sequences and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome and so needed across businesses. I know so many businesses struggle with those areas and really building out their systems internally to be able to handle everything that they want to handle.
Yeah, it's a big one for a lot of clients. They come in just being like, I don't even know what I need. And we kind of streamline them and point them in the direction that they want to go based on their goals.
I love it. So have you always been in this space, or what got you started here?
No, actually, my original start was in radio many moons ago. And I did promotions in radio for quite a few years. And then when I got pregnant, I started getting, I call them real jobs, just because radio is kind of a fun job. And I went into more the administrative side of working, and I was a part-time letter carrier after my kids were born for 11 years. And then, yeah, I moved into this space in 2010, doing online work with businesses and supporting them for a friend at first, and then started gradually growing. And now I have become an agency.
That's amazing. I love that. Our lives certainly change when we have kids, and that's definitely one way.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting.
Very cool. So what do you see for the year ahead? Anything new and exciting happening in your business?
Yeah, so typically in the past, we focused more on the virtual assistant side of what we do. And going forward, I would like to do more of the automations and the technical support for clients, helping with launch setups and helping with course setups and doing the workflows and system setups so that they can, I feel like, especially with everybody's talking about a recession, but especially with that coming, it's good to have those in place because it cuts down on the amount of time that an admin support would have to spend in
Mm,
the business.
for sure. Yeah. And I always feel like one of the hidden benefits to automating things is it forces you to create and perfect the process that's happening behind the scenes. So it really gets your focus into how can you streamline things and make things work more efficiently and then speed things up, right? Ultimately implementing that automation.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where we specialize too, is looking at the business as a whole and seeing where things can be automated and systematized and where they might need processes that they didn't really realize they needed them. So a lot of the pre-work is going through the business and looking at pretty much every part of it and saying, here, you need to do this, and here, you need to do that.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's so helpful to have that external eye and that view from somebody else that's been there, done that, and be able to see those areas that can be sped up.
Yeah, a lot of people, and I'm so guilty of this too, even in my own business, is we mishmash a bunch of stuff together because it works, right? You're like, it's working, and but it's not, it might not be efficient, it might not be effective. You might be paying for things that you don't need. So making sure that you have, first of all, your goals so that you know exactly where you want to go. And second of all, making sure that you have the right systems and the right processes in place really helps you get to those goals without straining yourself or straining your team or paying out of pocket for a bazillion programs that you never use.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good point, is a lot of the programs that you end up acquiring in your business can be consolidated, and that there's likely a lot of overlap that you're paying for that you may not realize that you're double dipping in your budget and you don't have to pay for those things, and that can be streamlined a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing to have somebody, like you said, external come in and look.
Awesome. Your kids are not quite so little, but how do you suggest to people balancing business and home life? Any tips there?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I did when my kids were little and I first started was I planned breaks throughout the day where we would go and do something. So that was just part of our day. If it was in the morning, I'd be like, hey, mom's going to work for, an hour and a half, and then we're going to go to the park for half an hour, or we're going to go downstairs and play or whatever. And they were pretty good about letting me work. That being said, they were in school full time. It was only the summer that I had to worry over holidays. And then at that time, because I divorced their dad around the same time that I started the business, I started doing work in the evenings when they would go to bed a lot too. So after they were in bed, I would spend 2 or 3 hours working. And then sometimes I'd get up early in the morning and do work then so that I could be more available to them during the day, especially in the summer. But the planning the break thing really helped also just for my own mental health. Because I
Sure.
think we all know how you can just sit at a computer for 8 hours straight and be like, oh my gosh, I haven't even eaten or moved.
I do that. I get to the end of the day, I'm like, I don't even know what the weather is outside.
I know.
Nice. I have no idea.
So even though my kids are not kids anymore, I have an adult child who is 19, and then I have a 16-year-old. I still plan my day around taking my dog out for a walk. So every day at 1 o'clock, I take my dog for a walk, and that's my break, and I have lunch, and then I come back to work. And I think it's just a really good way to treat it more like work, right? Instead of a business, which probably as a business owner that you can get caught up 24/7 trying to answer emails or whatever. And then my other thing is having the separate office space has been a godsend. Like, I don't even want to ever go back to sitting at my dining room table and trying to get work done.
Sure. Yeah, it's a sanity space that you can close the door, and it's just you can get in that frame of mind when you get into the office versus walking out the door and trying to leave things behind.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of the benefits to being an entrepreneur is you can work anywhere, and one of the drawbacks is that you can work anywhere. So
You're not wrong. That is one of the drawbacks.
you got to be able to put up those boundaries and have a healthy balance. That's so important.
Yes.
So you obviously are a fan of automation. What have you found to help you in your own business of automating processes, and what has been important for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is I use Dubsado internally for client contracts and proposals and all that kind of stuff, and even my meeting requests. So my schedule is all on there, which really helps because pretty much when I have a meeting with someone and we go over what they're looking for, I can immediately send them a proposal with all of our packages, and they choose one, and it automatically fills a contract, which then they get it and sign it, and then it sends them our onboarding package and all of the information on next steps and booking the link and all of that. So it really helps cut down on my involvement in the process of onboarding clients. That being said, we're always doing the onboarding call, but it's much less me going into my email and being like, oh yeah, I have to respond to this email and send them this or whatever. And to be honest, I love Zapier. I never know if it's Zapier or Zapier, but I love Zaps because it's helped me automate a lot of my financial stuff. So every time an invoice is paid, it fills out all of the information on a spreadsheet. And once Stripe or Square sees that the invoice has been paid, it can automatically put in the Stripe or the Square fees that I paid. And it just all comes up on a nice spreadsheet that then I can hand in at the end of the year to my accountant and be like, here's every piece of invoice that's ever come into my company this year. And here's what I paid in fees, and here's what I received, and here's what I paid in taxes and whatever. So it's been really helpful that way to be able to automate a lot of those small things that used to just take my time of me typing everything in or copying and pasting. And yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I personally like to geek out even more with my own business of putting all those different pieces in place and making it easy for my customers to do business with me. But behind the scenes, I'm like, I click this one button and it does these 15 things. And it just makes my life so much easier. So I can very much appreciate what you just said.
It's all about ease and less time in the business.
For sure. Absolutely. So looking over your business and I guess looking ahead, how would you define success in your business? What does that mean to you?
Oh, that is a good question. I would say that success to me is helping more entrepreneurs, to be honest, more online businesses. It's I don't know much about the love languages, but my top love language is acts of service. So helping people like really fills me up.
Yeah.
Just for me, it's especially helping people who feel like they're lost or feel like they can't take anymore or they're overwhelmed. That to me is just so gratifying. And I just love being able to go in and be like, hey, here's everything I can do for you. And this is how it's going to make your life so much easier. So I would say helping another 20 or 30 businesses this year get to the point where they're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did that.
You're my favorite. Yeah. No, I love the connection with the love languages in there because we think about it so much in a personal life, but not necessarily in our professional life. But if that is the love language that you speak, that is very fulfilling for you to help your clients. Absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it bleeds into every part of life. So
Totally. No, it totally does. And thinking about leadership in your business, what would you say would makes a good leader?
to be honest, I think some of the best leaders are the ones that allow people to grow in their own genius and support them in that, right? I am not a micromanager. I am not somebody who's going to double and triple check anything. Like, I am the person that if you tell me you can do this until you prove to me you can't, I'm going to trust that you are.
Yeah.
I try and make sure that people are in their zone of comfort and their zone of genius so that they can be the best person they can be. But yeah, I think that leadership is all about bringing out the best in people and being there for when they need you and offering your support at any time. So that's it.
I love it. No, I love that definition. I would totally agree with you. And for businesses that are, or business owners hearing this that are thinking they might need your services or might be thinking that this could help them, what would you say to them? How could you help them with their business?
First, I'm going to say if you're thinking you need help, you're already past the point of needing help.
Sure.
Because we have so many clients come to us who are like, oh my gosh, I wish I had done this 2 years ago because I've been overwhelmed and stressing myself out and not sleeping and whatever for the last 2 years. And I never did it because I thought that I could just keep going, right? But the services we can offer is just taking a lot of that administrative back end off their plate so that they have the opportunity to go and do the things that actually bring in the money and that they started their business for. Because to be honest, how many people started their business being like, oh, and I have to email all the clients once a week and remind them to schedule their appointments, and I
And I
have to
can't wait to
respond
do
to all these questions. And yeah, most people aren't starting their business to do the admin work. They started it because they love what they are offering the world. So we take everything else off their plate so they can go do more of what they love.
Yeah. And what is the biggest pain point that customers come to you complaining of? What is their biggest perceived pain point that you find?
That they just don't have the time to get it all done. So they're dropping the ball a lot. They're forgetting to respond to emails. They're not getting back to people in the amount of time that people expect. So they have mad clients or upset customers or whatever, that people aren't getting the information they need to start their course. So then they've got 42, so that they just don't have the time.
And completely run out of bandwidth. Yeah, absolutely. Just looking through my list here, where I want to go next. So if you had the attention of the whole world for 5 minutes, what would you tell them?
Oh my gosh. I would probably tell them to just be kind, because you don't know what other people are going through. We all are going through stuff, and whether your stuff is big or small or whatever, other people are going through similar or different things, and kindness goes a long way. So I really truly believe that if everybody in the world took a minute to just empathize that other people have things going on in their lives too, that the world would be a much better place. So that would be my 5 minute speech. My TED talk would be, let's just be nice.
Hey, why can't we all
but
just
I
get along?
but I am Canadian, so maybe that's just the Canadian in me. I don't know. We're always polite, right?
No, from the US side, I would agree 100% also. My mom, just be kind to each other. It gets us so much further. I completely agree with you.
It really does.
So how can listeners support you in your work? Where can they find you online?
Yeah, so on Instagram, we are at Rock Solid Admin, and same with on Facebook, and then Lindy Rock on LinkedIn. And we have a website, rocksolidadministration.com, where all of our services are listed. But I would say probably Facebook is where I'm the most active because of my age. I'm their target audience.
I am as well.
But yeah, that's where we spend the most time, is on those kind of social media platforms.
Awesome. And I'll have all the links below so everybody can check out Lindy and all her fabulous services. But thank you so much, Lindy, for being on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. And you can find me at you can find me at sevenfigurebuilder.com, and I will see you guys in the next episode.